welcome back to Kim Reads. We continue with the Rosalind Franklin book. Chapter 2, Choosing Her Path. There have been accomplished and famous women scientists in the past, Ada Lovelace, Maria Mitchell, and others, but they were rare. For a long time, scientific discoveries were mostly considered curiosities instead of ways to improve people's lives. Science was a hobby, something rich people did for fun, fitting in around families and travel and other more serious interests. It was not a job. It had completely changed by 1935 when Rosalind was 15. Scientific discoveries such as electric lights, combustion engines, refrigerators, and telephones have made an enormous difference in the world. Science was now taken very seriously, and scientists were well-paid professionals. But the more mainstream scientific study became, the fewer women pursued it. Science became a job more than a hobby, and at the time, well-off women, such as Rosalind was, because of the family she was born into, were not expected to hold down jobs. Lower-income women sometimes had no choice but to work full-time. After all, the people who worked in Rosalind's family home were mostly women. Wealthier women were encouraged to do volunteer work, to help their communities without being paid. Rosalind's mother, aunts, and grandmother all did it, but the kind of scientific study that intrigued Rosalind most required an advanced education and expensive equipment. It couldn't really be done as a volunteer. Most people thought women shouldn't work if they could afford not to. A woman working in an important profession was seen as taking that away from the imaginary man who might have held it otherwise. Even when women did pursue careers, they were expected to choose one that didn't require advanced study. To become nurses, not doctors. Village school teachers, not college professors. The famous universities of Oxford and Cambridge had started to allow few women to enroll as students, but at the time, Cambridge didn't give a woman graduates real degrees. The women took the same classes as the men, did the same work, took the same tests, and earned the same grades, but they didn't end up with the same recognition or the same amount of power. It was also still rare for women to attend university, and even more rare for them to study science. Across all of England at that time, not one single woman held a major university job in any of the sciences. The famed Royal Society of Science, which had funded research in England since the 1600s, had several hundred male members, and not one woman. Still, Rosalind expected her family to be pleased by her ambition. After all, her own father was sorry he hadn't been able to become a scientist. Surely he would understand. Rosalind's father disappointed her. As she prepared for challenging her final years of study at St. Paul's, ones only taken by girls who planned to go to university, he told her she should study how to help the poor instead. That way, instead of holding down a paid job, she'd be able to volunteer to help other women, like the Jewish refugees now arriving from Germany. After all, she didn't need to earn her own money. Rosalind's parents were happy to support her until she found a husband who could. Rosalind was furious. Her family had always taken her seriously before. Now they seemed to think she was too young to know what she was doing. Plus, she knew she would be terrible at a job that mostly involved people. Rosalind liked problems that had concrete answers. People could be confusing. They were much harder for her to understand. Rosalind felt that her father only said this because she was a girl. It made her unhappy. He changed his mind and allowed her to study whatever she pleased. But she never forgot that he doubted her. Rosalind knew that if her father thought her becoming a scientist was a bad idea, other people would too. She didn't let those doubts stop her. She persisted. Rosalind graduated as the top student in her class at St. Paul's. She won a scholarship, money to help pay for college. Her parents insisted she give it to a student who actually needed the money. They paid her tuition instead. Rosalind Franklin enrolled at Cambridge University in the autumn of 1938. She was on her way to making her dreams come true. And that's the end of that chapter. See you later.